Now, as we're going back to the Ushagos, as we're going back home, you have worked the whole year. Now it's time to go back home and spend time with your family, your relatives, your long-lost uncle, everybody, basically. You're just going to see everybody. And there are a few questions you're going to expect from people, okay? Like number one, especially from your parents, okay? When are you getting married, okay? They're going to say, my daughter, my son. 365 days have passed, and yet again you have come home alone, single and alone. Kwani huko Nairobi usikiangi baridi? What is happening? And sometimes I do understand that it comes from a place of love, but it can be so much pressure when every time you go home, they're asking, why are you not married? Even if you're not getting married, why don't you even have a girlfriend? Hata fiancé, mwenye unaweza leta. And sometimes hata tukiwaleta unasema, kwa nini unaleta watu wengi hivi? You know, like letanga mmoja. Si kila siku ni kama The Bachelor, kuna huyu Njeri wa this year, Njoki next year, Atis the other year. It has just been a lot, and they're just wondering, when are you going to settle down? And before we bash our parents, I think we need to understand that a parent's only joy is to see that their child is stable. Your child is stable, and you know, even if you're not here in this world, they're going to have somebody. Someone is going to be there with them. That is their only joy. That's their only concern. So before you get annoyed by them asking, when are you getting married? Put that into, you know, consideration.
Absolutely. Another very interesting question that we normally get from parents is, when are you giving us grandchildren? Charles, we just spoke about children yesterday. We spoke about how motherhood is the ghetto sometimes. And you have to be ready to face this ghetto. You have to go in with a flashlight. You have to go in with enough credit so that you can call people when you are in the ghetto. Like, you know how it is in the ghetto. You need to be prepared. Lazima ukuwe na rungu yako umebeba pia, making sure that if anybody comes, unawagonga. So basically, the question of when are you giving us grandchildren is simple. You told me all the way until I was in university. Vijana akikuguza hivi mkono mimba. Kijana hata akikunusia hivi kidogo, you're pregnant. You let me stay single all of my life until I was in my plus working years, right? And now suddenly you're expecting me to miraculously materialize not just a partner but children. Y'all are ghetto. The parents, y'all need to calm down. But I'm over it.
And I think another question I keep getting is, how often do you go to church? Do you even go to church? And parents, you need to understand something, okay? When we were growing up, church was a requirement. It wasn't because you wanted to go. It wasn't because it was like from the bottom of your heart, you were going there voluntarily. No, it was because mamangu alikuwa anaamka asubuhi anasema, haya, ni wasaa ya kanisa, muamke mutoke, nataka kufunga mlango. You know, so no one would have stayed back at home.
What do you mean?
You all need
Kegosho music.
Imagine,
very early at 6 o'clock.
Very early. So I think, and you know, some of the things that used to be blamed on religion, and it used to come from a place of fear. If you don't do this, you're going to hell. If you don't do this, you're a bad person. If you break away from the church, you're just being rebellious and you're a bad person. So a lot of us have trauma, religious trauma, and the thought of church and the things we've seen go on in church. And I had this friend of mine. She was a bit older. I think I was around 18. She was a bit older and she had gotten married. And they were both like very devout members of the church, her and her husband. And there was a domestic violence situation, and this man beat her up bloody. And on top of that, he was cheating on her the whole 9 years, just a toxic man. So tell me why they come to church for counseling, because she wants to work on her marriage. And this pastor turns to her and asks, what did you do to trigger this, you know, reaction from whatever? And when people ask you, don't tell them it's your husband who beat you. You know, like you don't want that image to be out there. And it was so traumatizing and so painful to watch all of that, to see her hurting, to see her with bruises, but she can't talk to anyone about it because the pastor said, what did you do to this man so that he was out there cheating on you, so that he beat you? Did you trigger him? Did you talk to him badly? So seeing that in church, the minute it was up to me to figure out if I'm going to church or not going to church, I knew my answer because it was just it was church wasn't working for me for so many reasons, so many more reasons other than that. We also had like predatory youth pastors
those
up in there.
guys.
So when now my mom asks me, do you go to church, I just say no.
I'm scarred.
Yeah, I see you go to church even on your off days. That's you. I'm happy it's working for you. Do you, boo? But for me, I had my share of the church and it just wasn't for me.
And the scamming too. That scamming stuff was annoying to me. You've gone to church with 100 shillings. That's your fare back home. The minister tells you, "God glory, give this a sadaka." And as you are walking out of this
Hallelujah.
ceremony, as you are walking out of this service, the Lord will send his angels ahead of you. You will miraculously find yourself with 1,000 shillings. Unapatiana pesa yako yote. Unatembea kwenda nyumbani fare ulipatiana. You are mad. Let me tell you, churches are a scam. I am just going to say it here. Personally, my experience is churches are a scam. Just leave it alone. Moving on. Moving on. And by there, do not come. But actually, you can. I will give you a few too many lessons that I've had. Dare me.
Listen,
I dare you to
bottom
dare
line
me.
is, if church works for you,
Yeah,
well
do
and
you.
good. But it doesn't work for some other people, and it should not be your place
Yeah,
to
it's not your
force
place
that
to
on
force
other
things.
people. Yeah.
And so it is also not my place to force you not to go to church. But
True.
it goes both ways.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. Do you, boo? Another one is what to my dreadlocks, aka dreadlocks masters, aka veteran red. Ukienda
Sasa
nyumbani
sikia.
na you know those hairs that go, they are matted. Unafikanga nyumbani unauliza, hizo ni nini umeweka kwa kishwa? Immediate watu wa baby locks, watu wenye wamedai nywele, you're about to get you know those two
These
baby
demonic satanic things.
demons, demon,
The
you will
horn of the
not.
devil on your
Inakanga
face.
hivi. You will not bring the devil into my house. Those are the kinds of questions that you're asked, especially for men, yeah? For women, on the other hand, ukiwa na tattoo, unaambiwa you know you will never get into heaven. Utafika lazima tukukate hii yote iende. But then you know the religions that do that. They cut off your tattoos before you are,
Damn.
so that you can be accepted into heaven.
They would really have to cut off my
Hey,
hands.
you guys, you have a lot. So basically, some of these conversations of tattoos, piercings, you know, when you make huku kwenye belly, kwa masikio, mpaka kwa mapua, everywhere, unaambiwa hit, what are these that you have on your face? What are these that you have on your
Kwa nini
hair?
unakaa kama mwizi?
Oh, exactly. Exactly. But I know for real, if you're dressed, make you look like you're a thief, just take them off. It's not that deep. But some people look really nice. So keep it moving.
Cameraman. Yeah. Also, as we're winding up, we're literally being kicked off. Another question parents are really going to ask you, are you eating well? Because sometimes you are really working hard, you're drinking your lemon water, you're snatched, umekonda, and then unaenda home, unaambia, kai kwani haukuli? Hawakulipi huko? They're just concerned. Bear with them. And I think in an African setting is the only place where if you gain weight, it's going to be like, wow,
You are doing
amepata
well.
pesa. Things are good. Yes.
But even the opposite is valid, especially for those whose parents are coming from Mayolo. Unaambiwa ukinona nona hivi utolewa na nani, who's going to marry you? Why are you so big? So either way, you win some, you lose some. There's some battles you win and you lose. First things first, make sure you always have a comeback. Have a comeback in the back pocket yenye umeweka tu hapa nyuma. Ukiulizwa unapatiana hiyo. Ukiulizwa unapatiana hiyo. That's my only saving grace. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And as we come to the end of the day, finally, again, I go back to my initial statement, which was please show some love to people that need it during this Christmas season. Please go and help the needy children. Pass your sanitary towels, all your extra food, all your extra money. Give it to someone who needs it more than you. Why? It is just the spirit of giving. So give something, even if it is your time. Give that time to someone. Because guess what? It shall be brought back to you, shaken over, spilling over. What's that state?
Shaken down, pressed together, and overflowing.
Flowing, all of that stuff. So that's exactly why you should give. Kathobi, see ya.
And my name is Turife, and now I can say it. Happy holidays to you. Have a fantastic holiday. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.